Hello everyone, welcome back to Data Testing Zone. So in last video we saw how to establish a connection to Postgres using psychology library and then how to run a query after connecting to Postgres, right? So we ran this and we saw some records as well. Until here everything should be good, right? I hope you all will be able to connect to Postgres and run the queries from there. Okay. Now next is we will go into the utils file. Now, what basically utils file generally have in any kind of framework or project is जो functions reusable होते हैं, ठीक है, या independent of project domain project requirement होते हैं, वो हम लोग utils में डालते हैं so that you can give this file, you know what, I'm looking for some function which will validate the schema. Oh, okay, then you already have that function in your utils, so you can just pick that function and then you can give it to someone else and they can use it as it is. ओके, सो वैसे टाइप के फंक्शंस हम लोग utils.py में लिखते हैं, ठीक है. सो इन आर केस द टेस्ट केसेस दैट वी आर रनिंग, उसमें से वैलिडेट स्कीमा एंड वैलिडेट नॉट नल, दीज टू काइंड्स आर दोज जो प्रोजेक्ट स्पेसिफिक नहीं होते हैं. व्हेनेवर वी आर डूइंग डेटा वैलिडेशन वी जनरली रन दिस टेस्ट केसेस, राइट? So irrespective of the data type we have or the data, the data structure we have, we run these two validations. So let us write a method that we will be using to validate schema and not null columns. Okay. So we will create two functions now. First वाला तो validate schema के लिए होगा. Okay, why 20 here? ठीक है. Validate schema. Okay. Then we will give one as expected schema. Okay, and then we will put it as df. No, sorry, this has to be dict. Okay, and then we will put it as actual schema. अब expected schema हम लोग as an argument pass करेंगे और जो actual schema होगा वो हम लोग df से derive करेंगे, ठीक है. So we'll put that also in a dictionary. So we'll do that df dot d types, ठीक है. df dot d types means data frame का data types क्या है. Okay, and then we will just convert it into string क्योंकि हम लोग जो पास कर रहे हैं एक्सेल फाइल में वो string है. So we'll for safer side we'll just put it as string, ठीक है. So now we will do the validation. हम लोग अब iterate करेंगे every column and data type और फिर वो मैच कर रहा है या नहीं वो देखते हैं. Okay, for column and type in expected schema dot items. Why it is showing as error shadow? Okay, let me do this. Type inbuilt function भी हो सकता है I think. So that is why we will just put it as d type so that we don't get this type of error. If column not in actual schema, ठीक है, और d type not in actual schema column, ठीक है. तो actual schema column, why we are taking this is particularly a way of saying कि column की value क्या है, ठीक है. In dictionary when we want a value against certain key we generally take it like this, ठीक है, और d type not in this. Now what we will do is we will return false. तो इससे क्या होगा, इससे हमारा टेस्ट केस फेल हो रहा है, राइट? अगर एक्सपेक्टेड स्कीमा में जो भी कॉलम्स और डेटा टाइप्स है, अगर वो सेम डेटा टाइप एंड कॉलम्स हमारे डीएफ में नहीं आया है, हमारे डीएफ दैट मीन्स द डीएफ दैट वी विल मेक बाय रीडिंग द डेटा दैट इज देयर इन पोस्टग्रेस, वो नहीं आया, दैट मीन्स दैट इज नॉट ट्रू, करेक्ट? मतलब देयर इज समथिंग रॉन्ग इन द डेटा लोड. Now next is this is validate schema function. Next we will put it as validate not null. Okay, अब not null के लिए हमें क्या क्या पैरामीटर्स चाहिए होंगे? एक तो अपना like the actual df that is there, okay, and then not null columns. So not null columns we will parse it as list, ठीक है, and then what we will do is we will check for column in not null columns, okay, and then if df column dot is null. Okay, dot any. What we are doing here is, अगर किसी कॉलम के लिए या डेटा फ्रेम में कोई भी for every column it will check if df column is null. So whatever columns we have provided in this not null list, not null column list, that means we are saying that this should not be null. ठीक है, अगर ये so the column that we will be checking is every column that is there in this not null list. अगर हमारे डेटा फ्रेम में वो कॉलम में कोई भी रो की वैल्यू नल है, then it will return false. Okay, simple enough. If not, it will return true. Okay, so I think we are good. We should be good till here. So we have created two utilities. Now let us test it. Okay, how to know that it will work on our data frame? So let us create a util standalone, test utils standalone file. Okay, so once we have created it, let us test each of these. For that, what we need to do is we will just import pandas, because यहाँ पे भी panda data frame बनाना है हमें, तो pandas लगेगा. ठीक है. Then we will do from source dot utils, because it is sitting in source. Okay, this file is sitting in source, so we will import it. We will import both the functions. Import validate schema and we will do validate not null. ठीक है, ये दोनों हमने import कर लिया. Now what we will do is we will define some Pytest test cases. So Pytest test cases जब हम लोग लिखते हैं, it should always start with test or it should end with test. The method name should start with test or end with test. ठीक है, तो we will just do validate schema, or okay, so this will be like this, and then what we will do is we will pass a data frame. हम लोग एक टेस्ट डेटा फ्रेम बनाते हैं यहीं पे pd dot data frame. ठीक है, we will do this. Oh, okay, I have not given it a short name, इसलिए ऐसा हुआ. ठीक है. Okay, and then data frame में this should be dictionary. Okay, like I told, हम लोग जो data frame बनाएंगे वो dictionary के जैसे पास करेंगे. So I will put as id and then I will put 1 and 2. ठीक है, और दूसरा एलिमेंट जो रखेंगे that will be name and this will be suppose not, this should be in list. Okay, so we will put Alice. Okay, and then Bob. ठीक है, so this is the data frame that we created. Let me remove this. Good. Now what we will do is expected values यहाँ डालते हैं. We are just testing whatever function we have written. ठीक है, so don't worry. We are just creating a sample data and testing it. ID and then ID का expected, what should be expected? It should be int 64. ठीक है, इसका data type int 64 होना चाहिए. And what should be the name data type? Name data type should be str. Okay, so this is what we have written so far, and we will do assert now. Assert is nothing but we are asserting or we are checking that the df is equal to expected or not. ठीक है, तो अभी हम लोग यहाँ पे validate schema call करेंगे. Okay, now this validate schema is expecting two arguments, right? Two parameters. So where is our utils? Here it is. It is expecting one df and then expected schema df. Okay, so the first df that is there, it is df, and then expected ka, this one is the parameter for that. Okay, and then we will pass some verbose, which अगर ये test case fail होता है, which it is going to fail, so it will give result like expected result is not similar to actual result. So it will give comments like this. Okay, reformat, fine. Okay, so good till here. Now what we will do is we will run this as a Pytest test case. We have just written one test case for now. We will run validate not null as well. So for now, let us run this one only and verify if it is working or not. So to run this, what we will do is we will create Pytest We will write this. We will go into our test folder first. Okay, I am already inside this test folder. If you are not, then you can just do cd test. Okay, and then you can go to this test utils standalone.py. I'm checking the spelling once and then -ps. Okay, so we will do this and see if it runs successfully. Okay, it is giving an error as no module named source, but I think it is already there, right? Why it is okay, modules have valid Python names. Okay, I understood the error. So the problem is I have created this as a directory, so we cannot import packages from a directory. I mean, Python does not recognize a directory as a package. Okay, so to do so, so that it recognizes it as a package, we will create an init file over here. ठीक है तो ये इसको importable बना देता है understanding so we can import files from here we will keep this blank और टेस्ट में भी हम लोग सेम करेंगे so you see here is a small dot right so that means it is converted into package right now so we will create an init file here as well so it is underscore init okay and then underscore dot py तो ये फाइल ओके ठीक है now I will run this again let me do cls and now let me run it perfect so you see it has ran and it is saying it is failed and it has given the assertion error as well expected result is not similar to actual result so this test case is not passing. Now, why it is not passing? Because the name that we have provided is a list. It is not equal to data type string, right? So in Pandas, string, whenever we provide list or tuple, anything like that, right? Set, it is always accepted as an object. It is not accepted as a scalar entity. Okay. So what I will do is I'll do it as object. और अब रन करते हैं Okay, why it is failing now? I think it has to be capital. Let us run again. Okay, it is again failing. What is the issue? In 64 and then name. Oh, okay. It has to be name, right? Fine. And then maybe it is two mistakes से ही समझ में आता है. Okay. Again an error and then let me put it as object this time. ठीक है, small because I am sure small ही होता है. Maybe this time it will run. Okay, it has passed. So now what we did is हम लोगों ने इसको स्मॉल लेटर कर दिया दैट्स इट एंड देन नेम शुड बी इक्विवेलेंट टू दिस ठीक है क्योंकि हम लोग स्कीमा में नाम और डेटा टाइप दोनों पास कर रहे हैं राइट दोनों पास होना चाहिए देन ओनली a test case will pass so if you put small n here तो ये case sensitive होता है obviously it is a machine language so you have to give everything what is there like a to a होना चाहिए it should not be a to small capital A to small a ठीक है तो okay so here till here we are good. We have validated our test validated schema. I mean validated schema function. Now let us validate validate not null. Okay, you will write another test case for this. So let me put it as test validate not null. Okay. What we will do here is now we will create a list. What it will take as an input, it will take a list as an input. This particular function will take one argument as a list, right? Now first let us take all the components as I mean let us create a data frame first of all because one of the parameter or one of the argument is a data frame. So let us create the same data frame and then let us give it expected में let us assert only directly. It is not important that you give अलग से expected. But here let us do it in traditional way. Let us give expected value over here. Expected is equal to. So we will say that ID and name only should not be null. ठीक है? These two columns in this data frame should not be null. Okay. Now I will do assert not validate not null. Okay. Now what I will give here is df, comma, then I will give id. Now this is the list that I am passing. ये expected list है. ये दोनों values not null नहीं होने चाहिए. ठीक है? मतलब yes, null नहीं होने चाहिए. Sorry for the mistake. So okay, now I will run this test case again. Both of these test cases, and I'll see what is the output. Okay, I'm not used expected here. मैंने directly list वापस से pass किया है. So let me put expected. ठीक है? Since we have already kept it in a variable, so let us use that variable. Let us see. Wonderful. Both of our test cases have passed. Okay, you can see here. Now, if you want to fail this test case, right? So let us give it as none. Bob के जगह पे यहाँ पे हम लोग none डालते हैं. Now none is nothing but a null data set. I mean, it is nothing in data frame. Okay. Now I will keep this as name. Now I will keep this as the expected value, both. Okay. Okay, it has failed. ठीक है? Why? Because this particular list has none also. That means a null element with it. Cool. So we have tested the utilities as well, the utilities that we have written, and we are good to go. Okay. So in next set, we will be writing the test cases in an Excel. Okay. So we can use it while creating a test data validation file. So this will be the actual file where we will be calling each of the functions and running the test cases. Okay. So see you in the next video then. Thank you.